She's not like, oh, I'm cold. Oh. Probably a good time to answer because I know we've done it a few times, but a lot of people have asked me, is Livonia worth it? Is it good? So I guess we might as well give our rundown now. I guess it would be a review, more or less. If you guys have any questions about it, be sure to throw it up in the chat. But hi, baby. I know a lot of people have been asking. Again, you know, is Livonia worth it? I know the current version that we're in now is 106. It has its problems, 106 in general, so that's for Chernarus and Livonia. But I honestly think, and we've been playing this Livonia map. We're actually in it now. We've been playing Livonia since it was out in beta, and we had a blast playing Livonia. As a matter of fact, I think the map plays quite well. Any of the shortcomings, I honestly think, are up against the 106 release. I really haven't seen anything wrong with Livonia. As a matter of fact, here, let me see if I can bring this up again, if this makes sense. Okay, so if you're looking at the river, A8 to M, what is that, 11? East to west, left to right. That's where everybody spawns, is along the river in Livonia. And the way you transfer, if you look on the north side of the river, that's the transfer zone, roughly, right? I mean, it's got specific zones for it, but it really makes, because you've got the beginning people spawning there, or even transfers from Chernarus to Livonia, or Livonia to Livonia happening at the top, you have this interesting merge of just people running into each other a lot because of the surface area of the river. If you kind of look at Chernarus, that L shape is a pretty big distance. And this one just being left to right, like, yeah, you've got the bow there at the top of the river, but it just creates really interesting places or interactions that happen almost all the time. And as you know, I mean, Chernarus has bears too, but the bears in this map are in the forest zone, so like the 6th row all the way down. I mean, Nad Boar, you're not going to really see, what is that, like F5, F or G5? Ooh, that's not close, huh? That's not close.
Yeah.
Where do you think that... I think it sounded like it came from this direction. We're on official, so...
Yeah, it did.
Oh, let's stay frosty. I'm going to close this back half and then lock it up. So, yeah, I
Well,
think...
I've locked these up here.
Okay, I'm going to lock these. I think because Livonia has such great... Its flow is definitely different from Chernarus in a good way. And for that reason, I think this map is really, really strong. I like the way the tiered system works. The hell was that? What was that? I like the way the loot tier system works a lot. I mean, Chernarus is the same way. You've got a lot of the, you know, as you move further into the map or more north, what is it, north? I wish I had my other map because I could show you. It's northwest on Chernarus. Dang, dude, sounds like it's going down. In this map, as you go further south, the weapon tier starts to go up. So you'll start to see roughly like 7 to 5 is like tier 2. And from like 5 down to 1 is going to be like your 3rd tier. I don't know if this is a 3 tier or a 4 tier system. I just know you'll find really good gear in the forest zone. One thing to note with Livonia is survival is definitely a lot more difficult in a good way. So if you have been playing for a while and you want to test your grit on survival, this is the place to do it. Like right now we're taking refuge in a barn because it's raining. Could we go outside? Yeah. Are we going to freeze and lose food like crazy? Yeah, you bet. So we know because we're going to try to travel further in the map, we want to conserve our food. So we're actually waiting here. But it creates interesting things, like not only these interactions that you're getting on the map, but like you've got, and I'm sure you guys have seen videos like this, as a fight breaks out and then it rains, it changes the way the fight is going to settle in. Because people, if they're still outside camp and stuff, they're going to start melting in the rain, in the cold. So it really, it changes things up. Like since it's constantly moving, the fights will just kind of shift to the environment that's happening, or just well, I mean, the rain, the weather. So I think that's killer. I know they upped the food and water requirements in Chernarus too, but I think one of the biggest things here is food, right? In Livonia, so it really focuses on hunting and fishing. You can fish in Chernarus too, but like you've already seen here in my bag, I've already have cooked. What is this? It's carp fillet to take with us, because as you move further south in this map, in the forest zone, you have to hunt. You will very rarely find food on zombies or in houses in the forest zone. So 6 down to 1. You're not going to see any of that. You might see some in Nadbor there in the center, but not really. You really have to plan and get your food as you go down. And as I've said in many like survival videos that I've done for Livonia, you want to max out your water, and you want to start stockpiling food by fishing or hunting or both, and then you just want to start moving south if you want to get the really, really juicy loot. Also, on the topic of loot and everything else, it's also worth noting in that river band, there's still okay. So if you look at those red splotches, those also denote cities, but oddly enough, along the river is where you spawn. But those red splotches also represent military zones. So yeah, you can get from absolutely fresh to yeah, it's first tier loot, but I mean, who cares? When you're fresh, everything's great. So you actually can run into military tents almost immediately when you spawn, which creates a very interesting dynamic. Yeah, an interesting. It's just it puts the mix in pretty quickly, and I enjoy that a lot. I think it's fantastic. Have you had enough time to Davies to have any fights over there in Brenna yet? No way. Taking a hot poop. Let me check these doors real quick. But yeah, I mean, you've seen us start off absolutely zero in Brenna. And because the transfer zone, Brenna being, I'm sorry, let me show you where Brenna is. Brenna is G12, G11. And because it's like right on that transfer zone, it also has military, and then there's freshies, you get the craziest interactions up there. And that seems to be a hotbed. Cullen Brody also being I-12 and 13, that little red spot on the river. And then Brenna being G12, again, that big red spot on the river. You see a lot of action in there. There's a lot of spawn points, and you get all these geared people coming in from Chernarus, and it's just a bloodbath up there. So yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend if you, and this is what I've been saying a lot, if you like 106 and like you can manage it, I'd say, and you're in the market for, you want to know if you want to get Livonia, I would say absolutely get it. I think this map is laid out excellent. And any shortcomings that we've run into are 100% from 106. And, you know, as this thing gets more stable, knock on wood, it's going to get better. And then there really won't be any huge problems with Livonia. Now, we're talking about Livonia for Xbox and PlayStation 4. I mean, I guess for PC too. I guess we should speak to some of the stability issues for vehicles in Livonia. Or I should say, it's not really Livonia. It's more or less just 106. But we can drive vehicles here. It's a little bit easier because the cities aren't as dense. And you already know, if you're playing on PlayStation or the Xbox, the issues come with optimization around cities and like server performance. Because Livonia is so open, it does make it a little bit easier to stay away from hitting things from lag. And anybody on the consoles knows exactly what I'm talking about. But it's not like any different from like Chernarus in the sense of like performance. It's the same. Like we're just, there's less things. Oh, that sounds hot. There's just less to maybe run into because of the way it's laid out, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I would say 100%. I think the map's worth it. I think it's a reasonable price. It's like $15 and like change after tax, USD. Again, I don't get paid by anybody. I don't get paid by Bohemian to push this. I'm not in cahoots with them. This is just us, our experience playing it from the PC all the way over to the console side. And yeah, we're playing on the Xbox One right now, but I know we're all sharing the same version. So especially Xbox and PlayStation, we actually share the same database. So yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that Livonia is nice. If you can handle 106, definitely. I'd say Livonia's worth. I mean, if you're not in the mood for like a new map, then obviously you probably don't want to get the DLC anyway, but honestly, I don't see any shortcomings to the map itself. And we've done nothing but like it, and we have a blast. Like whenever you want some hot action, we just go right to Brenna It never fails. Oh, Jason Simmons says there's supposed to be when you fish it there's trash. I heard there's trash. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, definitely be prepared when you're doing Livonia, but it's hot. I'm a fan. I see us playing this quite often. I see us making a base here, and then us transferring back. And I guess it's also worth noting you can transfer your loot from Chernarus to Livonia and back and forth. So I think that's awesome. And you can use it to your advantage. If you know you want to get a bunch of things in Chernarus, like vehicle parts, and then move over to Livonia, you can do that. So I like that. I think it doesn't really separate the population. If anything, it kind of makes it a bit more diverse. And it's interesting. And the fact that we've got a new official map, it excites me a lot. And I'm glad that we finally have one. So I'd recommend. So I guess that's our early review of Livonia. I guess, would it be a review? I mean, we do play the game a lot, so I mean, I guess we'll let you know as it settles in more if there's any kind of major change for us in Livonia. But honestly, I haven't seen any shortcomings to the map itself. So there it is. There it is. Probably should have done this a bit earlier, but you know, I figured we might put it out there because we do play often. Hell, we put in crazy hours on the beta, so I'm trying to get this radiator in my pants. You know me.
I've got one.
Yeah, I'm trying to get an extra one because, you know, just in case we do lag and hit a pole or something. You know me. How many cars have I wrapped around trees? Many.
Don't know what you mean.
Yeah, yeah, you do. Yeah, so if you find that useful, be sure to drop a like. It does help out quite a bit. And we're going to keep pushing on and see if we can't find a vehicle and get things pushing, baby. Next time it rains, throw some of those seeds down. Oh, yeah, you're right. This is reviewed. Thank you. Hey, no problem. Yeah. I'm going to try to make room for this.